Suicide is exploding. Promiscuity is off the charts with the diseases and the abortions. People don't care about themselves anymore on average. They don't care what the government's doing. This is large segments who buy into the hype. A lot of people just buy into hype. They do whatever they're told. I have talked to mothers at homeschooling group meetings who took their children out, professionals, doctors, lawyers, because one mother starts telling it and the other dad starts telling it while they took them out of public school, because they'd have their 6- or 7-year-old, some cases 5-year-old, at Austin public schools. This is all over the country. And they tell them, you're killing the earth, you're hurting things. So when they drive by a housing development or something, the little girls cry and retch and say, I'm killing bunnies. Ladies and gentlemen, these people are the scum of the earth. They want control of all the resources. Lord Monckton, what do you do about this level of criminal filth that have turned the schools into re-education camps?
Now, the first thing to do is to do your best to try to get real hard evidence from inside your child's classroom of what is being said to your child. There are various ways you can do this. Get in touch with your local homeschooling group. There's 3 million children in the States now educated by homeschooling groups, so they're free of this propaganda. But they will tell you how to find out what is going on in your child's school, what is being said to your child, what kind of threats and bullying is going on in the name of saving the planet. As you know, Alex, the planet was triumphantly saved 2,000 years ago. It doesn't need to be saved again. But this is this propaganda that humans are a disease on the earth. This propaganda which is being spread by images drawn by propagandized children here at the Rio conference. This is, and your phrase is absolutely correct, it is child abuse. But you need to get, if you're a parent, the hardest possible evidence of what is being said. And then you need to go to your local police or FBI and make a formal complaint, because it is a criminal offense to abuse children. And the abuse can be mental as well as physical. And this is mental abuse of children if they're reduced to tears by these appalling, foolish stories about how humans are killing the planet. And you need to go and report it and go on reporting it until somebody in the public services does his job, investigates and arrests these teachers and sends just 1 or 2 of them to jail. That's all it will take. And the rest of them will run for cover and will not dare to try to peddle this sort of propaganda to 6- and 7-year-olds ever again. It is disgusting. Again, your word, Alex, and you're absolutely right. Children have a right to the innocence of their childhood. They should not be exploited by the hard Marxist left among the teaching profession. And the way to stop them is to find out very carefully exactly what is being said to your children. And then if what is being said is something that you think amounts to mental abuse of your children, do not take it lying down. You should certainly, of course, complain to the head teacher, and if you don't get satisfaction there, then complain.
And remember the teacher that said if you criticize Obama, you'll be arrested. And we have the tape 2 years ago of Al Gore to a group of middle school students at elementary saying, your parents are wrong. You go tell them to support the carbon taxes right now. I'm sure you heard that.
That is illegal in Britain. He could be taken to court for that if it happened in Britain. In America, thanks to the right of free speech, you can even say that kind of thing to children and get away with it.
Hey, tell folks you got his film removed from schools, proving it was a fraud.
What we did was we got them, in order that they could show it in schools, they had to send 77 pages of corrective guidance around to every school.
So they had to stop showing it in effect. Yeah, exactly. Stay there. Other tidbits of what's happening at this criminal confab, straight ahead with Lord Christopher Monckton, scienceandpublicpolicy.org. Check it out today.
We're on the march.
Okay, Lord Monckton, we've only got about 7 minutes left till we go to our next report. Really appreciate you joining us from Rio. Obviously, next week or in the aftermath, you can give us the full data dump. The fact that they're not releasing their agenda and their plan shows that they are cratering. What do you expect them to do now? A, B, what are other pieces of intel you've been able to glean there on the Brazilian coast?
I think the most important thing is that because they have withheld each new draft of this document as it is negotiated, they are plainly frightened that we would do to them what we did to them at Durban and at Copenhagen, which is to reveal the sheer nonsense that the negotiators have been putting into these drafts, so that when the public laughs at them worldwide, they have to drop it from the draft. This time they want to keep it all secret right until the end of the conference, and then announce that all the draft, including all the silly things they had to take out at Durban, they're now trying to put them back in again, has been accepted and is therefore de facto, it's all done, there's nothing anyone can do about it. That's their strategy. It is going to fail because with CFACT.tv and CFACT.org, with whom I am on this trip, we will be producing the most detailed and factually based analysis of the final document when it eventually emerges that is available anywhere. And you will then have the chance to get onto your politicians, in particular in the United States, your senators, in case they try to get any new treaty through based on this document, and say to them, there is no legitimate basis for any treaty based on anything coming out of the conference here in Rio. We will provide you with the detailed ammunition. We will send it to you for posting at Infowars.com, so that you have the details as well. And you can, of course, get all our reports from CFACT.tv and CFACT.org. And if you want to take part in our petition to world leaders, telling them to pay no attention to the Marxists and pointy heads assembled in large numbers here in Rio, then please go on to CFACT.org and make sure you vote in that petition. You can participate. If you will participate and help us in this way, this will make sure that the message gets through to our political leaders that we will not take this lying down. We will not allow negotiations in democratic countries to take place behind closed doors at these international gatherings. We will not allow this obsessive secrecy, because the rule is very simple, Alex. If they only hide something if they've got something to hide, and they're hiding the entire negotiating text. That means they are running scared of the few people here who, like me, have seen through this nonsense and are not going to let them get away with it.
Now, undoubtedly, you've got moles sneaking around, and I mean, hopefully hackers don't get in like last time and get to climate emails where they admit it's all a big scam. I mean, I've got a feeling, how long is the conference running? I've got a gut feeling we're going to end up getting a leak.
The conference is due to finish today, whereupon, of course, the text should be available. But as you know, Alex, the way they script these things for the left-wing media, and that means nearly all the media, is that they always go into an extra day or two, and then at 4 a.m, a day or two after the conference should have ended, they emerge with their ties around their ears and their hair all in a mess and their unshaven faces and a wan smile on their face, and saying that we've done it, we've reached agreement. The general feeling so far among the left is that they're not going to get what they want, even behind closed doors. They're not going to succeed in getting what they want. But, of course, they will declare it a victory anyway, as they always do. But we will be telling you in detail what the truth is about what they've decided. We will summarize the long, turgid document that comes out. We will explain, for instance, that capacity building, when you see that phrase, means creating enormous bureaucracies which become permanent and start acting as leeches on the taxpayers. We will explain all the UN gobbledygook so that you understand that what is really being done here is yet another attempt to turn the United Nations into a world government. I've been shoved aside by UN goons here. Just a couple of nights ago, I was dining at a fashionable restaurant, standing outside waiting for my car, and up comes the dictator of Rwanda, surrounded by wagons full of UN goons. One of them gets out and pushes me into the rose bushes nearby, so the dictator could walk unencumbered into the restaurant. This is the UN regime we are all going to have to know and hate as it evolves. They are becoming more arrogant as they get more money and power from the UN's member states. And again, all around the world, if you're watching this, there is one thing you could really do to help here. That is to get your local member of parliament or Congress to ask an official question about how much money is paid by your country to the UN IPCC, the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change.
So they can fly around constantly, guzzling alcohol, partying, prostitutes, it comes out. I mean, it is incredible.
Ask your parliamentarians to find out how much this is costing. Because in Britain, we are drawing up plans in the United Kingdom Independence Party to leave the UN. There's no longer any point belonging to this organization. And we are moving towards, it's not yet settled, but we're moving towards the idea that we should leave the UN. As Switzerland has already done, they've never played any part in it. Just come out and stop paying.
It is, look, the UN has been caught, as you know, even in the New York Times admits it, lining people up in Africa and Latin America and shooting them to take their property. Lord Monckton, thank you so much, and we'll get a debriefing from you when you get back to the UK. Thank you so much.
Real pleasure. God bless America.
Well, God bless you guys out there fighting against this tyranny. Thank you so much, Lord Monckton. Wow. So much happening there. And again, this is not hyperbole when we talk about how evil they are. They have countless publications, and I want to see this new one, where they tell children they're evil, you're a parasite, you're scum. We've shown you the cartoons and other things. I am now going to, you guys get me a glass of water, I'm not going to be able to continue. Thank you. Eating peppers while he was talking and then don't have any water. Thanks. Again, ladies and gentlemen, very important to expose what the United Nations is up to. It is absolutely imperative that we become aware of this and that we expose them. Everywhere I go, I see propaganda. I'll just get up and get it. Yeah, I needed water earlier. I need to get like a water cooler in here or something sometimes when this happens. Thanks a lot. I love hot stuff, but sometimes a little bit of it goes down by your lungs. It's over. Oh, there we go. I basically drink Tabasco, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, it's like salt now for me, but we're going to have to obviously skip the network break coming up. Stations out there should not be running over this. Speaking of wonderful stations, let me give you a plug. Just this week, we've gotten 2 new affiliates, WGPA, Allentown, Pennsylvania, and the biggest station in Knoxville. We've been on outside Knoxville, WBCR, for more than a decade. They're great folks, weekdays, but they're picking up the Sunday show on WNOX, 100,000 watt FM. So very, very exciting, WNOX and WGPA. Very thankful to all the great affiliates. We're getting a couple new affiliates every week. The show is exploding. And there you have it, WNOX 100.3. Wow, front page promotion there. We just went to the site and we're front page. So they're testing us out on the weekend to a little bird might tell me, maybe move into where Neil Bortz is when he retires. The point is that the show is exploding all over the country as people discover that this is unscripted, no teleprompter, no notes. What we've said, even though it sounds crazy, is coming true. It's really happening. Now, after my professional coughing fit on air, people will ask, why are you doing movie reviews of Prometheus or of the new Batman film that is coming out? Why are you doing this? Well, it's because there are more messages implanted in popular culture than there are, even in the news. That's just one level of propaganda. And whereas I like a good movie, I like a good entertainment fantasy movie, it's fine. When you see messages in these films, you need to be able to point them out. And by pointing them out, we get other people who've never thought about any manipulation going on to start thinking for themselves. Now, Batman: The Dark Knight Rises is coming out July 20th. And I mean no ill will towards people that made it, but it's full of propaganda. So we review the last 2 films and now the 3rd film. We have talked to folks that have seen screeners of it in focus groups, but they made some changes since then. So we're not 100% sure on the entire plot, but that's